Oh my gosh, you look really good. What have you been doing? Have you been like eating healthier or something?
I've been taking a class in gun kata.
Oh, really? They have those? That sounds like that movie Equilibrium.
I've never seen that movie.
Oh, well, how's the class? Is it fun? Do you like it?
I don't know.
Okay, well, I mean, a lot of people like when they work out, they get like endorphins and they feel happier. Do you feel happier?
I don't know.
Okay. Like you seem really like monotone and like one noted. Like what's up? Like
I've been taking a new medication that suppresses your normal human emotions.
that sounds a lot like Equilibrium.
I don't know. I've never seen that movie.
You haven't seen it?
You haven't seen it.
No way. You're out of order.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Fasten your seatbelts.
You're tearing me apart.
Houston, we have a problem.
What we've got here is failure.
Conceivable. God damn you all to hell.
Hello and welcome to
You haven't seen it?
The podcast where I force my wife to watch movies she doesn't care to see. I'm your host, Joey.
And I'm his wife, Erin, the wife who doesn't want to see these movies.
Yes, that is correct. How you doing today, Erin?
I'm doing good. I actually had an idea for my introductions that I wanted to try that I forgot to do.
Okay, you want to just do them right now, or?
Yeah, can we start over?
Okay, sure. No, don't press anything.
Okay.
We're going to do this in real time so the listeners know how bad we are at this.
Okay.
Okay,
Ready?
you ready?
You got to start.
Hello and welcome to
You haven't seen it?
The podcast where I force my wife to watch movies she doesn't care to see. I'm your host, Joey.
And I'm the emotionless wife, Erin.
The emotionless wife.
Yeah. So I thought it would be funny to like add little hints of movies into my little thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm the emotionless wife who hates movies because they force me to feel.
That's what I should have said. That would have been better. Anywho, I should write them out if I'm going to do them.
Okay, so we are recording this on Easter Sunday.
Easter Sunday.
And we just had a big old crawfish boil. We had some of our friends and family over, and we had a fantastic time.
Yeah. It was really fun. And we had some good freaking... If anyone eats crawfish...
I think it's kind of a Gulf Coast thing, but they're really good.
It's so good. It's one of my favorite foods. It is, I think.
No, Erin is a fiend for these.
I literally took, I think I had a whole pound of crawfish. Not like a pound of just the tails, like a whole pound of like full on crawfish. And I think I ate them in like 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
You like when you get that tray of crawfish, you are like so focused. You are like a man on a mission with those crawfish.
Yeah.
You will literally eat yourself sick with crawfish.
I did eat myself sick today. I'm so full and there's still some tails in there and I keep like going in there and just stealing a tail. I can't stop. They're so good.
This is this is the first time we've gotten them.
Yes.
Usually your family gets them, and I got them from I got a tip from my friend Robert, and he told me which ones to look for, and I got them, and they were really
so
big,
good.
And yeah, they were easy to peel, and they were just delicious.
They were perfect.
They
were huge.
I ate two big ass trays of it, and I don't even like crawfish nearly as much as here.
Mm-hmm. And most of the time, whenever I was scooping for people, I gave everyone like a scoop and a half, and I gave myself 2 big scoops each.
Yeah, you did.
Each platter. I love crawfish. They're so good.
Yeah. Okay, so what movie are we going to be talking about?
We're talking about the movie Equilibrium.
Equilibrium. Okay. Did you know anything about this movie before we watched it?
I didn't know anything about this movie.
Do you know who Christian Bale is?
I do know who Christian Bale is.
It's really hard to talk about this movie without also talking about Christian Bale.
I love Christian Bale because I loved American Psycho.
Yeah. Oh, everybody loves American Psycho.
He was so good in that movie. And the whole, like, his little monologue with him being like, talking about
the Huey Lewis and the news.
Yeah. That whole, like, it's hit to be square. That whole bit is so iconic. I love that.
Yeah. I am a very big fan of Christian Bale, like as an actor. I don't know much about him in his personal life. Mm-hmm. He might be a difficult person. I don't know. But he is an incredible actor. He transforms himself, his body. Like, did you ever see like how skinny he got for The Machinist?
Yeah, you showed me that movie. He was super skinny. I didn't even realize it was him.
Yeah, and then for other movies, he'll be like super buff. Like in the Batman movies, he got really ripped. Like, this dude is just really, really dedicated to his work.
Yeah.
And then you watch Equilibrium, and you're like, how did this guy have a fucking career? Because it was very early in his career. He'd already done American Psycho, but he still hadn't been Batman yet. Right? Mm-hmm. Who the fuck sees Equilibrium and says, I want to make that guy Batman?
I don't know. Was Equilibrium like popular at all?
No, it did very poorly in the box office. It had a little bit of a life on VHS for people who were like, there was a lot of people at the time who would just watch anything that was even remotely like The Matrix.
He was Demetrius in a Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah, which is a movie that nobody really saw.
Well, yeah, it's Shakespeare.
He's been in a ton of stuff. The dude works like crazy.
Yeah, but like looking at his stuff, like there is some like smaller things that he's done, but he, like the bigger things, like people know him for American Psycho.
Yeah, that was a huge.
I think people see that and be like, yeah, he could totally be Batman.
Yeah. Well, the thing about American Psycho was it wasn't like a big budget A movie. It was like a smaller B horror movie, and it became a big cult classic.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. But he's a phenomenal actor. You watch any of his movies, but Equilibrium, the whole time we're watching this, I was like, how did this guy have a career after this? Because his performance is garbage. It's so bad. Did you not think so?
No.
God.
I didn't think his performance was bad. I did think the direction wasn't great.
No, I think the biggest issue was they said, "Oh, you're all taking medication that makes you not have emotions."
Yeah.
So nobody knew how to act.
Yeah, that's direction. That's not the acting issue.
It's not me getting mad at Christian Bale. I'm saying like this movie almost ruined his career.
Oh.
Okay, well, obviously, you must not have thought it was as bad as I did.
I didn't think it was as bad as you did, no. Especially because, like, he was one of the characters that started to feel emotions.
Yeah, I mean, as the movie goes on, you like him more, but still, like, I don't know what it is. It's just... I don't know. Just, I think the idea of having a movie where the people aren't allowed to have emotions doesn't work. And I think that's what turned in such a bad performance for him and other people in the movie as well.
Yeah. Well, I think the point of it is to root for him to get his emotions back.
Yeah, I understand the point of the movie, and you're on his side the whole time. I'm just saying, like, I thought his performance was really bad.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Okay, what did you think of the movie then?
I mean, I don't think the movie was good I'm not saying the movie was good, but I don't think he did a bad job. I think he was given this script that's not the best, and he did with it what he thought was best.
Of course he did. I'm not saying he phoned anything in.
No, yeah.
I just think I really don't like this movie. I didn't like it the first time I saw it. And watching it this time, that's all I could think about. It's like this could have ruined his career. That's all I could think about.
I didn't see that.
I was just thinking, like, thank God nobody saw it. So what were your general impressions of the movie? And we can stop talking about this because now I feel kind of bad.
I thought there were some really cool shots in the movie. Like there were some, like the shot at the top whenever he goes into like, I guess that I don't remember what the other side. We watched this a week ago, but when he goes to the other place and like people are trying to hide the Mona Lisa, and he goes into the room and he starts shooting everyone in the dark, and you just see like flashes of light and him shooting everyone. I thought that was a cool shot. Like there were some like little moments in there that was like, oh, like that's a cool shot. Like that's interesting to look at. But I mean, like,
I think there's a good movie in here. I just don't think they made it. Does that help you at all?
no, I didn't really talk about like my opinions of it when I was watching it. I think it was because like when I was watching the movie, I was kind of like, wait, what is going on? Which I'm not saying that this is a good movie. I'm not like, oh, I liked the movie a lot.
I'm not trying to argue with you about whether it's a good movie. I'm just asking what your general impressions are of it. Like,
Media, we're gonna get to that at the end with the bullshit assessment.
I'm just saying, like, what some things that you saw that stuck out to you, or some questions that you had, or just anything, like general impressions. It doesn't mean you don't have to give an opinion. What was your, like, what did you think about when the movie started? Like, what did you think the movie was going to be about? Did you think it was post-apocalyptic? Was that clear?
Yeah, I definitely got, because it went into like that there was a third world war, and then there was a fourth world war, and they were like, no more world wars, we gotta like do something about this. And so that's what they instilled the drug for.
And don't you think that's kind of like a hat on a hat to be like, oh, there was a third world war and a fourth world war?
I mean, that's just bad writing.
That's what I mean. It's a hat on a hat. You only need to wear one hat. So what's the second one for? That's just something that this movie reeks of. It's just like trying too hard. And the gun kata thing it feels so incredibly shoehorned in.
Absolutely. But it's so funny.
It is funny. It's the one thing. Okay, so you know how I always say in a bad movie, there's one part or one thing that everybody remembers.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who saw this movie will remember for the rest of their life gun fu or gun kata or whatever it is. You can. I forgot everything else in the movie but that.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever forget that either.
Okay, so the budget for this movie was $20 million.
That seems like a lot.
At the time, that's like a mid-budget movie. In 2022, they're making movies.
It seems like a lot for what it looked like.
Yes, it does. But how much do you think it grossed worldwide on a $20 million budget?
10 mil.
$5 million.
Oh my gosh.
So this movie did not do well, and maybe that's why Christian Bale still has a career, is because nobody saw this.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. So is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Something that annoyed me about the movie was that they kept saying that they had no feelings, but they kept using words of feelings.
Right.
So like they would say, "Oh, are you pleased?" And they would say things like you can't be pleased if you have no feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And they would say all these different words of feelings without like, and they were like, "Oh, you don't have feelings, but let me get your confirmation of appease."
Right.
With no feeling to you. And I was like, that doesn't make sense.
That's why I said it's too hard to make a movie where nobody gets to have emotions. Right?
Yeah.
And then even when Christian Bale begins to have emotions, he's constantly around people where he has to pretend that he doesn't have emotions.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just, if I was going to make this movie, or if I was going to punch this up, I'd be like, say that the medicine suppresses your emotions, right?
Yeah.
So you can feel happiness or sadness, but maybe you don't
feel anger.
No. Like you don't, they're just suppressed. Like if a family member dies, you're sad, but you don't cry, and it doesn't take weeks to grieve over it. You'd be like, oh, how do you feel about your mom dying? Like, well, it's sad because she was my mom, but I'm on this medication, so I can't cry, or I think that would have been more compelling than just like this drug completely takes your emotions away.
Yeah. Oh, that's smart.
Yeah. I think the story is there. I just don't think they executed it that well.
No.
And I think they like The Matrix came out 3 years before this. So all the gun kata stuff is just like them trying to be like The Matrix. So now you see what I'm saying? Is there anything else you want to bring up?
Yeah. Also, like DuPont, who's like the leader guy.
Yeah.
He keeps being like, no one can have feelings, but he's constantly angry.
Yeah. He's probably not taking the medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it like he's literally yelling at him constantly and like all these angry emotions. Literally, I would have been like, you're not taking the medications. I can tell. He's supposed to be like, everyone is supposed to be like, I can tell when you have feelings. That doesn't make sense either. Like when you can, like you're empathetic, I guess.
Yeah, they kind of try to make it like that FBI profiler thing, like in Silence of the Lambs, how Jodie Foster has to like think like a serial killer to catch the serial killer. That's kind of what they're doing, but again, it doesn't work. It's like you're taking drugs to suppress those types of feelings, and like you can't think like somebody with emotions if you don't have emotions.
Yeah.
The movie just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Right. And that's probably the biggest glaring one.
I also thought there were too many twists. It was like a twist after a twist after a twist.
Oh, what do you mean?
I can't think of any now, but literally the note was there's too many twists with quotes around it. Like, I want to say like whenever the kid was you expect the kid to be like, Dad, you're supposed to be taking your medication. And he goes to his house to find his medication behind his mirror, but it's not there. And the kid, like you're expecting it to be like, oh, it's these other people. And then his kid comes up and he's like, Dad, we knew you were going to stop soon. And he's like, wait, what? You're not taking the medication either? And he's like, neither is our little sister. And I was like, that's so scary. Like, what if someone found you and like killed y'all?
Yeah, and they don't do the work to make you care about his family or his
nobody
dead wife.
cares about them at all.
Yeah, and then I think his wife should have been like dying and it being a sense offender should have been a part of the movie and should not have been a flashback.
Yeah, but there's constantly like there was twist after twist after twist. Like whenever they were like, oh, like I'm going to trick him into believing he's the one that it was towards the end where it got too twisty. It was like,
the third act is just like
Christian Bale was going to trick the other guy,
Taye Diggs,
into thinking that he arrested him, and then he goes up to DuPont's, and DuPont actually arrests the other guy.
Yeah, because he like switched their guns around or something.
But then that was actually a twist because when Christian Bale's character goes to DuPont or to go see the main guy later, who's actually DuPont, which is another twist. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Like it was a twist after a twist after a twist after a twist, and I was like,
the twist that
stop it.
Was really unearned to me was where he goes to DuPont and he's like, I'm here to see Father, and he's like, Father's been dead for years. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Just let him go kill an old dude.
Yeah.
You guys can still have your knife fight, and then he goes into the father's thing and like shoots him in the head.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, a lot of this just also just feels very lazy to me, which
Yeah.
is like my biggest pet peeve in filmmaking. Is like, even if your movie's bad, if I feel like you tried really hard, I will give you the benefit of doubt.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think I
don't-
also just like this movie because I like Christian Bale.
Okay. I mean, I love Christian Bale. I've already said that. I think this is his worst performance ever.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I think the reason, like, I'm not, like, so, like, ugh. If there was someone else performing this, I think I would be more harsh because I like Christian Bale a lot.
Yeah, I do too. Unfortunately, I just think it's a dud.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to get in scene by scene? Or is there something else you want to talk about?
I mean, we don't have to go scene by scene. There's some other things, like, or we could go scene by scene. Well, one of my questions was like, why are they burning the paintings? And I guess the paintings are supposed to like elicit feelings.
Yeah, well, I think.
But if you are taking a medication that prevents you from having feelings, what is art going to do for you?
They don't want people to see art and be inspired to create their own art or to have feelings or something. Like, one thing I think they did well is they made where they live look boring and drab. It's like a brutalist architecture. Have you ever heard that term before? Mm-hmm. It's like that. But then they'll find those rooms where people had like kept art and furniture and like old stuff. And they go in there and it feels really cozy and it makes you feel something, so, everybody listens to music. Mm-hmm. So that's an easy art form to talk about. Like when you listen to a sad song, it makes you sad. Yeah. Right. When you listen to a happy song, it makes you happy. It makes you want to get up and dance. They don't want that. They just want people to stay in line no matter what. Mm-hmm. Because they think that's what's going to cause another world war. I just thought it was funny that they went for the most obvious pieces of art. Like, oh, they've stole the Mona Lisa.
Yeah. Beethoven. They're destroying the Beethoven music. Something else is like a utopia where there's no emotion sounds so terrible.
Yeah.
Like I would hate to live in that.
That's not a utopia in my opinion.
Exactly. Like a world without art and a world without any kind of emotion just sounds horrendous. Because like, some of the best times is whenever you just get to cry. If you have a good cry, those are the best.
It's cathartic. It feels good.
Shoot, I had a good cry the other day, and it was so good.
Well, because that medication.
I think I'm on a new medication, and I think it makes me cry.
Well,
so I get a little teary-eyed.
One day you were emotional, like more emotional than normal, and I think it was a side effect, or you think it was too.
Maybe,
right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because you had just started taking it.
Mm-hmm. And I've since been emotional. Like, people do something, even if it's unintentional, like, I'll just take it a little bit more to heart than, or like, it just like hurts my feelings a little bit more than usual. Or like, maybe my emotions are just heightened a little bit more.
Maybe.
Because like even like the other day I was like super happy about something and I started crying because I was super happy. So it's like the opposite of equilibrium.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. All right. You want to get in scene by scene? Or you still have other stuff to say?
We can go scene by scene, I guess.
Okay.
I don't have it in like detail scene by scene, but you might.
Oh yeah, I do. I wrote down the scenes. So at the beginning, you've got this. It's post-apocalyptic sort of, and they've got this. What would you call it? A community, a fortress, where all the people live who do suppress their emotions, and then you've got the leader of this community or movement. And he's the father. And he's always got his head up on screen and he's like preaching constantly, which is a huge sign of a cult.
Yeah, propaganda.
Jim Jones used to do that in Ghana. He would just have recordings of himself talking all the time.
Oh.
So it made me think of that. But then they go to the outside world, which has all been ravaged
The
by war.
outskirts are like, they're trying to like clear the outskirts.
Yeah, they're of rebels and any type of art that they find, or yeah. So Christian Bale.
But if you have your own fortress, like, fuck the outside world. Just stay in your fortress.
Yeah, I don't. That's another thing to me. Maybe somebody who's seen this movie a bunch of times and likes it can explain it to me. But like the rebels, what they wanted was never really clear. It was just like they're stealing art and stuff,
so that the other people wouldn't destroy it.
I guess. But it was like, you know, when I watch Star Wars, like I know what the rebels are trying to do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't understand really what they're trying to do. Another thing that's kind of unclear about this movie. So then we have Sean Bean. You know Sean Bean?
Nope.
He was in Lord of the Rings. He had that meme. One could not simply something.
Oh, that was him?
Yeah, that was him.
He was a human, right?
Yeah, he was a human. He died in the very first one.
Really?
Yeah. He was killed by orcs. Defending the hobbits, I think.
We're taking the hobbits to Isengard.
Yeah, this one. You remember this meme? One does not simply be remembered for one's films. But that's the guy. And he's Christian Bale's cleric partner. And that's in that, why do they call them cleric? Cleric is like the clergy, right?
Yeah.
Which is church, religious stuff.
I think this is supposed to be like a religion.
I don't know. But anyway, they go in there and they find a bunch of books and some rebels, and Christian Bale does gun fu on it. Did you like that first scene of gun fu?
I did like the gun fu.
I thought it was pretty cool. The way they only showed just
the flashes of light.
Yeah, the flashes of light and the guys
people coming at him.
Yeah. That was the one time I liked the gun fu. So they kill the rebels.
And they're called grammaton clerics. And I was like, are they assassins? And then I put a question mark. And then I said, yes, question mark. Because it doesn't say that they're assassins. But they are?
Sort of, I guess. They're more like law enforcement, I would say.
Yeah, but like they go in when other people can't kill the other people.
Right. So then it's their job. They take out the rebels and they find all the artwork and the books and stuff, and they have to set it on fire.
Which Sean, sorry, oh my god. Which Sean,
yawns are contagious.
Sean, he takes a book from these people to go read it. Period. That's it.
Yeah, it was like a book of poetry.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh. But they burn it, and then of course you go, "Oh, this is like Fahrenheit 451." Did you ever read that book in school or
Nope.
anything? It's a very similar story where in the future they are like, "Oh, we have to burn all the books because reading makes rebellious people. Reading and art."
Oh.
Right? Kind of reminds you of something that's going on right now. And
Yeah.
a certain party wants to ban books from schools.
Yeah.
So there's some food for thought.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
just remember, banning books is the beginning.
Just the beginning.
Just the beginning.
So Sean Bean takes a book and they go back to... the fortress. Wait, there's a name for it. It's Librium.
Okay.
So that place is called Librium, like equilibrium.
Mm. Well, everyone's equal there, so it makes sense. Except everyone's not equal there because there's a father and there's clerics.
And then I have in my notes, there was a shot that looks like it was paying homage to this old silent movie called Metropolis. Have you ever heard about Metropolis?
I have not. If it's a movie, I don't know.
Well, it's also from the silent era. Look up.
So that's a definite no.
Yes, 1927 film. It's a really beautiful film, but it's really hard to sit through because it's really long for a silent film. And then since we're not used to seeing that anymore, but look at some of these stills for it. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, it's a really cool movie to look at. Yeah, it was made in Germany. Maybe we will watch that sometime for the show.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder what we would talk about.
How nobody speaks. There's some really, like a really interesting thing about silent film is the acting.
Yeah.
It's like really big.
Yeah.
Like throwing your arms around and your body and
Yeah.
because they don't have words, but I like it. I think it's cool. And then everybody takes a pill at the same time. There's like an alarm that goes off in the community. You remember that when everybody takes, or it's not a pill, it's they shoot themselves in the neck.
So there's an alarm that beeps, and then everyone takes a little like vial that shoots themselves in the neck. And then you see Sean, like everyone does it, and then Sean takes you see him fake put it in and then pretend to put it in his neck.
Oh, really? They showed Sean Bean?
Yeah. He doesn't actually put it in his neck.
Oh, so we know before.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's smart because we see him with the book and then we see him not put the thing, or you did. I missed that part. So there's probably a good third beat. Oh, I remember the third beat. They're in the car and he says something, you remember? And he's like, and Christian Bale's like, why did you say it like that?
Yeah.
I can't remember
he
the
was
line.
Sensing that he has emotion.
Yeah. So that's 3 times. If you are an aspiring screenwriter, something like that, you want to put it in there 3 times so that this is what my screenwriting professor used to say to me. So all the mouth breathers and the knuckle draggers will be caught up.
Oh, okay.
So you put in, do you do that?
Yes.
Stage writing?
Of 3? Yes, 3s.
Yeah. Rule of 3s. It's really important in writing and art.
Yeah. That's also like comedy, the rule of 3s.
Yeah, the rule of 3s in comedy. So then Bale meets with, what did you say his name was? DuPont?
Yes.
And then they talk about, and you find out that Christian Bale's wife was a sense offender. And that's what they call people who stop taking their medication and they start feeling
emotions again.
Yes. Is this the part where they flash back to it? Or is it later?
Or flashback to his wife?
Yeah.
No, I don't think they flash back yet. They just talk about it. They talk about how his wife, they're like, oh, well, remember your wife was a sex offender. So how does that make you feel? And he goes, I have no feelings.
It's like everybody in the movie is always trying to bait each other. How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
It makes me feel. I don't feel.
It makes me feel like nothing.
Why are your eyes darting around back and forth in your head like that?
I'm not thinking.
I'm not feeling.
I don't feel and I don't think, except if you tell me to think.
Yeah. And then so Christian Bale starts to investigate his partner, and he goes out. He finds out that he's been going out. What is the name of they call the other place something? They call the old.
I don't remember what they called it.
Oh. But anyway, he finds out that Sean Bean.
Olden World.
Yeah, the old place. And he tells them that Sean Bean's been going out there every night.
Yes.
And he figured it was for business. But so Bale follows him to a church and finds him in there reading a book of poetry.
Oh, no. And he puts a bullet in him.
Yep.
Through the book.
I like that he quotes the poetry to him. And it's like poetry that probably most people wouldn't recognize. I know I didn't.
I don't recall.
No, I don't know much poetry. But then normally in a movie, when a character quotes a famous poet or author or something like that, the other person in the scene always goes, that was Walt Whitman. You know, like they always say who the quote was from. Like, yeah, I'm smart too.
To quote it.
Yeah, but in this time, it's just like, I don't know what he's talking about. I'm going to shoot him in the face. What is this bullshit he's spouting? I'm just going to shoot him in the face. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, after that, he goes home and he has this little boy. Christian Bale has a son and a daughter. And his son...
The daughter seemed to have been cut out of the movie.
Yeah, she did seem. But his son was like sitting... He's also going to be a clergyman in the future. Like he's in his like...
He's training to be a cleric.
Yeah, that's what it is. Clergyman. And he comes in and his son is watching Father on the screen and he's talking to his dad and he's like, this kid today, I saw him crying. Should I tell the teacher? And his dad goes, yep, you should. And it's very all matter of fact and everything. And it feels like Christian Bale has already started to have emotions.
Yeah, it seems like after he killed his partner, he's starting to kind of question things a little bit, but just a tiny bit. And then when he meets his new partner, who's played by Taye Diggs, his partner kind of like grills him a little bit. And he's like, look, I'm really good at sussing people out too. And it kind of felt like he was being like, so why don't you be careful? Because I'll catch you if you wind up like your partner.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but the little boy, he's creepy as hell. And he seems like really dedicated to the movement. And when Christian Bale forgets to take a dose, he's like, Dad, you need to go to Librium and get your dose replaced.
And then he goes, I also told your partner that you would be getting your dose replaced because he accidentally broke his vial that morning.
Yeah, he knocked it off the counter while he was brushing his teeth.
And then he goes to the place to get his vial replaced. And they're closed or something.
No, I think he was going to go in, but then his partner pulls up and he's like,
no, like they're like saying something like, to get your vial, like you must go to this other place because this place is closed due to terrorist events.
Oh, maybe I missed that part.
Yeah, and it was like on the loudspeaker like over and over again. Knuckle Dragger didn't hear it over here.
I am a mouth breather and not a knuckle dragger.
Okay. And then his partner comes by and he's like, whoa, that was quick. And he's like, yep, it was. In and out. And he like got in the car and he didn't get his vial.
Right.
So that's the first start of him not getting.
Yeah. And I think they did it like this is the beginning of the second act for sure. And I think that's the good point to be like, oh, he's kind of toying with the idea of not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Right. And you like Christian Bale is a good enough actor to like get across that he's like not fully on board with this yet, but he's thinking about it. And then they go to investigate.
You can see that there's definitely like a mental struggle.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then so they go investigate Emily Watson, who is I guess just some citizen there, but she's part of the rebellion.
And she's been snuffing or like hiding trinkets.
Yeah, well, she has a whole hidden room in her apartment or whatever they call it, her dormitory or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they take her into custody. They don't kill her right away.
They take her in for questioning because right now they're saying like, oh, well, she has valuable information. We can find more people and we could get this solved. So we're going to take her in for questioning. We're not going to kill her immediately.
Right. Yeah, because they think that she can help. And does Christian Bale have like I can't remember, does he? Because there's a few times it happens where he has sort of a question of conscience is like, oh, I don't want to kill this person because I would feel bad. So I made up an excuse. But I don't feel like it happened at that point.
I don't think so.
But it definitely happens later down the line.
Well, like when he's questioning her, like at the place, he has this like vial. It looks like perfume, I think.
Right.
I'm guessing that's what it was. But like he's like sliding this vial around. And he's like, what? It looked like he was like, what is this? It looked like the equilibrium, like the stuff that they were injecting in their neck. But it looked like he was like playing around with it, and then I guess he takes it with him to put it back in the vault.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember that.
Yeah. So like I noticed whenever he was with her, like she started to make him like feel like it's okay to feel. And so he like has the perfume. He's like, oh, I can take this perfume.
Oh, did he had it in the interrogation room?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Okay, now I remember. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember what they talk about in the interrogation room. But after that, in my notes, I put, gun kata feels shoehorned.
Yeah, I think they went to like a gun kata, like they were kids, like teenagers training for gun kata.
Yeah, like the future clerics.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think this movie would have just been better if they would have focused on the story and the rebellion and all that. I think it would have been more dramatic and more compelling.
Yeah.
And then I think they go out again at night into the old world or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Christian Bale goes out in the old world.
Yeah, I gotta figure out what it's called. Oh, when he goes out, that's when they find those puppies, right?
I don't know. Like I think he goes twice. Well, maybe.
Well, it doesn't matter. We'll skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah, they go out to this like place, and then they find a bunch of people.
Yeah, they find a bunch of rebels.
And then out back, they find these puppies, and they like tried, like the people that were there tried to let the puppies go, and then they like picked one of the puppies up, and they're like, I don't understand why they want to keep these. Do they eat them? And it was this cute little puppy, and Christian Bale's like, I can't kill it.
Yeah, Christian Bale's holding it up in front of his face and like looking at it while they kill the other dogs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty intense moment. And then he's like, I gotta take it back and make sure it doesn't have any diseases or something. Like he makes some excuse so he doesn't have to kill it. And this part when they start kill the, like just before they're about to kill the dogs, our daughter walked into the room.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes, that was the worst time for her to come in.
Yeah, she's always coming in at the worst times. But I guess that's part of life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he takes the puppy back. And then I think just before that, he finds another hidden room where he plays Beethoven on an old school Victrola, and he starts crying and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like they're...
Oh, and also like he also had these like night sweats the night before this, where he also like got up in the middle of the night and ripped out his like the frost of his window so that he can actually see the sunrise.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. So he wants to enjoy the world more. And then he gets caught taking a book just like his partner did. And he's like, oh, I'll just take it back and have it put into evidence or whatever myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes back for a little while, but then he has the dog still, so he tries to take the dog back to
that place.
Yeah, back to where he got it from, but he's intercepted there by a SWAT team. And that's when a bunch of gun fu happens. A bunch of gun kata. You remember that gun kata scene? He does the flip over the motorcycle.
Yeah.
And he's got somebody pointing a shotgun at his face, and he swats it to turn it around, and then he shoots the guy.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
But in this moment, like it was all about like don't lift the trunk, because the dog was in the back of this trunk, and all of these people were gonna like lift his trunk to see that there was this dog in there.
Yeah, and
he's gonna
also
be found out.
he's trying to tell them that he's a cleric and they shouldn't be messing with him, right? And they're like, "Oh, where's your ID? We need to see your ID." And he's like, "Look, I promise you, I'm a cleric." And then finally, they're about to lift the trunk, and somebody goes, "Oh, I remember you. Like, you're cleric Preston. Sorry about that." But then they end up lifting up the trunk anyway. I forget why.
Well, because they hear a dog whimper.
Oh, that's right. They hear the dog whimper, and that's when he's like, "All right, I got to kick some ass." And it's pretty satisfying because you're like, "Yes, I would defend a puppy too. I would shoot a motorcycle helmet guy in the face too if he tried to touch my puppy." I'm kidding. I'd let that puppy die.
That's horrible.
Do you really think I'd let the puppy die?
No.
No. But I also don't think I'd sacrifice myself. But if I was a master of gun kata, what are you looking at?
Trying to find the location of that place.
Who cares?
Okay. Okay. After the puppy.
After the puppy, he goes back. Like, another thing about this movie is there's so much going back and forth.
Yeah.
It's even worse than Rabbit Hole. The way, remember that when we watched Rabbit Hole, they're like, at home, bowling alley, at home, group, at home, blah, 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 blah. It just kept going back and forth. And this thing is nauseating. The way it just goes back and forth. And all the jumping back and forth from location to location. And then all the locations in the new futuristic compound thing, they all look the same.
Yeah.
All the backgrounds are like
where
a blue.
Are we at now?
Yeah, it's all like a blue background, blue gray background. It's very, very hard to look at this movie for more than like 20 minutes. And then
I wish that the outside world was more decorated. So like inside the compound, it's very like straight lines, black and white, grayscale, like having all of that. But then when you go out to the outside world, there's flowers
there should
everywhere.
be like
it's overgrown.
primary colors. Yeah, it should be like rubble, but grass and flowers are growing over it. And you know what this movie could really benefit from? A few trash can fires. Every post-apocalyptic Peter Piper picked up but every post-apocalyptic movie has trash can fires. Where are the trash can fires?
I don't know.
It would really
the Nether
practical. The Nether, that's right. Yeah. So anyway,
and then like there was this weird thing where he becomes like this like underground champion for the underground like revolution.
Yeah, the rebels figure out that he started sins offending, and they're like, maybe we can use him. But
like it's all mixed up, and he was like he became the champion so fast.
Yeah. And
it was like nobody was like curious about that.
Yeah, that's another thing is like the third act, they're just like, oh, we got to wrap this shit up. Let the rebels find
and it goes
them.
So fast.
Yeah. They should have had the rebels in it from the beginning, and like somewhere in the middle of Act 2, him start hanging out with the rebels or something.
Yeah.
Like
and
going to meet with them.
It also like, where'd the dog go? Like after he brought the dog back, the dog just disappeared until the very end of the movie.
No, he took it back to the Nether and just left it there.
No, he didn't. He put it back in his trunk.
He did?
Yeah,
Oh.
because he put it outside, and he was like, "You need to go," and then he couldn't leave it, and he put it back in his trunk, and that's what caused that big fight where he killed the guy.
I don't know who made this movie, but they need to release the dog cut now. Animal lovers want the dog cut. Okay, so there's another scene where Tay Diggs walks into him like in this dojo where he's training, and they've got like kendo sticks, I guess you could call them, and they start duking it out. But I'm like, this is just a ripoff of the fight scene between Neo and Morpheus in Matrix. You remember that?
I don't know Matrix.
You've seen it though.
Unbeknownst to me.
Aaron, we sat in our living room and watched it with you and your brother Andrew.
I need proof.
Well, anyway. So the people listening to this will definitely know this. So I'll just talk about it.
Okay.
So in The Matrix, when Neo is first on the ship and he's been freed from the pods, Morpheus and him go into the Matrix into like a training scenario where they fight with each other. Because Keanu Reeves is like, I know Kung Fu. Right? And it's like one of the best scenes in the movie because like Morpheus is kicking Keanu Reeves' butt and he's also teaching him a lesson at the same time. Like Keanu Reeves has been kicking and punching him and can't hit him and he's like breathing heavy and he's like, see, Neo, none of this is real. All this stuff that you see, me, my clothes, this dojo, it's not real. It's code. And Keanu Reeves is breathing hard and he leans into him and goes, you think that's air you're breathing? It's just really cool and really smart. And this movie is, I feel like, trying to rip that off and failing.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, and it's also a white guy and a black guy, so. That's pointless information, but. Oh, and here in my notes I put, what is the Resistance trying to do? And then they go...
Yeah, they don't specify what the Resistance is working towards.
No, they don't. And they go out on yet another raid in the Nether. And remember, he's
trying to... He, like, goes to these people and he's like, come... he's like, go away. And he's like, we if we turn around, you're going to kill us. And he's like, fine, follow me.
Yeah.
And he leads them through somewhere.
It's so weird that he tells the rebels to run and they just stare at him so blankly. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know, maybe coming off your non-sensing medication also makes you dumb.
Maybe.
Because they just sit there and stare at him. But he tries to get them out. And then they do get caught. And he can't execute them. So he tells Taye Diggs to do it. And then later in the movie, that's when he switches guns with him. Yeah. Right? Which is important for later in the movie. Gunbutt fuck?
Gunbutt fuck.
Gunbutt foo. Okay. Gunbutt. It's gunbutt. This is also another really weird thing where they're doing the raid and there's tons of guys with motorcycle helmets around all the time. Mm-hmm. Did you notice that?
No.
What do you think that they had so many guys with motorcycle helmets on with blacked out visors in long duster jackets? What would be the reason for that?
I don't know.
So you don't have to hire a bunch of background actors. You can get 10 background actors and put helmets on them, and you'll never be the wiser.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, it's smart, but also another sign of low budget filmmaking.
Yeah,
right. And there's John Carpenter movies that you can see that in too. But he has the little spikes that come out of the butt of his gun, and he hits people in the face with it. Mm-hmm. Do you like that part?
Oh, I thought it was kind of like weird. Like they were so tiny. It wasn't like they were like razor, like they were just like little tiny spikes.
Yeah. And I think they were flat on the end.
Yeah, they weren't impressive at all. No. Like if they were like knives, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But like they were just like little tiny spikes. I was like, that's not going to do anything.
Also, if I had it's
going to like bruise someone maybe.
If I had like a 45 like that, and I was like, it's full of bullets. Now I'm going to hit somebody in the head with it. Like, I'm afraid that it's going to go off and shoot me while I'm hitting people in the head with it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. And then he goes back to see the blind lady to talk to her about Sean
blind
Bean.
Lady.
Oh, I put my note. She plays a blind woman in Red Dragon. So she's in my notes as blind lady.
She's not blind.
She's not blind.
Wendy or something?
Let me go look. But Mary O'Brien.
Mary O'Brien.
Oh, Mary O'Brien. Eat your potato, Mary O'Brien.
Eat your potatoes
Hush, sit in your corner and eat your potato.
with your leprechauns.
Cry over your potato. Let your salty tears season your potato. I apologize to any Irish people out there.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, and so the blind lady gives him some information, and he finds out that the rebellion is under Librium, the city, right? And then they go there and they meet what's his name, William Fichtner, who's an actor who's worked on a lot of stuff, but he hasn't. They show him in the very first 5 minutes of this movie, very briefly, and then he pops back up in the third act. It's so weird. I think he was in it more.
I didn't even notice it.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have noticed it if I didn't know who the actor was and wonder why he was in the background of a scene and then never showed up again. Even though he's an actor who usually has lots of lines in movies. So there they talk and they're like, oh, we need you to kill father.
Yeah, they talk about you need to kill father. You're the one to do it. And he sets on a mission to kill him. And then there's this whole ordeal about like, okay, we're going to set on a mission to kill him. And then...
Do you remember he has sort of...
This is when it gets super convoluted and all twisty.
Yes, I agree. This is the third act. Like when they ask him, like, you have to kill father... That is definitely like third act beginning. But right after this, the very next scene is him running through Librium and he knocks like 5 people over.
Yeah, and it's like, you need to act normal. And he starts running around all crazy.
Act like nothing's wrong. Get out of my way. It's such when they do that in movies, it seems like it's so melodramatic to me. It's like, I'm so distraught and I'm in such a hurry that I have to knock these people over. I can't get out of their way. Like
I can't get out of their way fast enough.
My favorite parody of that is in Anchorman. You've seen Anchorman, right?
Yes.
Well, when he's like trying to get back to the station because they're going to put the woman on, they're going to put Christina Applegate on the news. Like he's running down a sidewalk and he's got plenty of room and there's a guy standing off to the side and he like just shoulder checks the guy and knocks him over for no reason. That's my favorite parody of that thing in movies.
Yeah. After that, it gets super convoluted and twisty. I'm just going to go in a real quick lowdown. Ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Set. So Christian Bale goes to... I can't.
I'm just gonna do this real fast.
I don't. It's so convoluted and twisted. It's hard to like go through and just like this is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened. This is what happened.
Yeah. We'll try to get through this a little bit faster. But he starts to be investigated because people are suspicious of him. He goes back to get all the doses that he put behind the mirror.
His little kid finds him and he's like, hey, Dad, you thought you were the one that wasn't taking them? Check it. Me and little sis haven't been taking them.
Yeah, Dad, I just owned you. You thought you were raising me? Guess what? I'm raising you now, huh?
Dad, I've been raising you since Mom died.
The student has become the teacher. What would Mom have to say? Okay, so... So he finds out that his son hasn't been taking it since his mother died, and neither has their sister, right? So the son's had its back this whole time.
Yeah,
which I thought was a pretty cool moment.
And then his son goes, "You need to be more careful." And then he goes to that place. He starts reorganizing his desk.
No, that's way earlier, I think. He gets arrested.
Yeah, he gets arrested by
Tay Diggs.
Brandt. And
he gets hauled in before DuPont.
yeah, and DuPont is like, "Ayo," or no, Christian Bale goes, "You thought you were gonna be able to pull blah 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 this person that's the leader of this and leader of that, and it was you." And he goes, "What? It wasn't me." And DuPont's like, "You are arrested." And then Brandt's like, "No, I didn't do it."
Yeah, and that's the little gun switcheroo we talked about earlier that came into play, though I'm unclear exactly on how he did the whole switcheroo, but it works.
How's it unclear?
I don't know.
They switch it whenever they're when they're about to kill the people.
Yeah, I know.
And he gives him his gun. He's like, "You need to kill these people." And he goes, "Okay, but you need to kill these. I can't do it. It should be you." And he gives him his gun.
Yeah, I know, but I was unclear and I didn't care to figure out
Okay.
what it was when I was watching it. I was like, okay, I get it. He pulled a trickaroo.
Yeah.
He pulled a switcheroo.
And then they're like, "Okay, yay, you did it. Now you get to go see the father." And he goes, "I want to see Father DuPont." And DuPont's like, "I don't think you should. It's super hard to see him." And he's like, "I still want to see him anyways." And he's like, "Okay, there's all this security and blah, 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 blah." And then like he goes through all this security and all this other shit. And then they're like, "You got to give him your sword. You got to give him this. You got to give him that. You can't have any of your weapons." And then they're like, "Then you have to do a polygraph test because that's the only way we can tell if you got emotions because your butthole's going to tighten up or loosen up when we ask questions." That's all I could think of.
That's funny because Christian Bale was in another movie where he was trying to pass a lie detector test. And he's like, "Look, man, it's easy. All you got to do is go in there and squeeze your butthole." And then so he does it. And the guy is like, "Hey, man, I can tell you're squeezing your butthole. I've been doing this a long time."
And then he's supposed to take this polygraph test and he's like, "Oh shit, I'm going to fail it because I have emotions now." And then something happens and he gets through and then he finds out Father is just DuPont.
Yeah, how did he beat that lie detector test? I don't remember.
I don't even know. I lost interest.
Yeah, and then he gets through to DuPont and DuPont's like, "Oh, Father's been dead for years. I've just been running this thing from behind the scenes," which is a huge letdown.
For real. Like,
It's like, ugh. It felt like
you're too arrogant to not take credit for all of that.
Yeah, and it's just like it's like us trying to get through the end of this podcast. They're like, "Look, we just got to wrap this movie up."
Yeah. Like, and the way that they played that character, he was so arrogant. Like, that character would have been way too arrogant to not be like, "I'm the leader now, bitches." You know?
Yeah.
And then he fights Brandt and he slices Brandt's face in half.
Oh, that's right. He slices his
the
face.
front face off.
Yeah, and that was also very unsatisfying.
It looked so bad.
It looked really bad. It was like very early CG. With their very small budget.
And the symbol that they had all over everything was very swastika-like.
Was it? I don't remember.
Yeah, it was kind of like a cross, but like it looked similar to a swastika. But it wasn't a swastika, but it was similar-ish. But I think that was the point.
Yeah. So DuPont is killed and this whole world crumbles and people get to have
emotions again. Hooray!
Hooray! End
That's
of
the
movie. So, Aaron, I have to get your no bullshit assessment for this movie without emotion, please.
Watching this movie, I didn't not like it, but I didn't like it either. It was very meh. It was
okay, you can use
much.
emotions again.
Okay, so I felt like I didn't hate the movie, but I wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah, I
think I like Christian Bale too much to be like, it was the worst movie I've ever seen. It wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen, but it wasn't good. I wouldn't watch it again.
Yeah, I would call this movie just a dud. Like they were
Yeah.
They were really going for something and it got greenlit because it was very close to what The Matrix was, which was a huge
yeah.
hit. There's a lot of movies like this that got released in the wake of The Matrix because it was such a huge hit. It was such a huge success. But this one is a dud. There's not much to like about it. One of the best actors in Hollywood looks like garbage. Because I really do think he's one of the best actors.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
But this movie, he's just not good. So where is he? I'm sorry. Where is he? I don't even like those Batman movies, but I think he's good in them. Where are they? Yeah. They got a lot of good actors to be in those Batman movies. All right. So we got a new little segment to do.
Is it new or is it old?
No, I'll show you.
Is it borrowed or is it blue?
All right, so we got a new segment for the 2 in attendance and the half dozen listening at home. Let's get ready to rumble because we are about to step in the ring with Letterboxd.
I don't know what is happening.
Letterboxd is a app or a website where you can review movies.
Oh,
so
okay.
I looked up some of the reviews for Equilibrium on Letterboxd, and I want to read them to you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, you ready? So you can just react to this however you want.
Okay.
I take it that people aren't allowed to listen to Huey Lewis in the news in this society. That was 3 stars by Russman.
Okay. They gave the movie 3 stars?
Yeah,
Three out of how many?
They gave the movie 3 stars.
Out of 5?
Yeah, out of 5,
Okay.
I guess. And you can give half stars in this. Adam, who gave it 4.5 stars. Wow, he really liked it. I think I'd like to die reading poetry and being shot in the face by Christian Bale. Then we have Will, who gave it 3.5 stars. What if somebody made a society that worked? Worked is in all caps.
Okay.
He doesn't think society's worked so far.
Yeah, I don't either. But
Here,
I don't think this one worked either.
Here's one you'll like, Aaron. Lucia, who gave it 3 stars and a heart, said Christian Bale didn't have to look that fine. Holy shit.
Oh, he is cute.
Yeah,
He is a handsome man.
Yeah. I think that's about it. I really like the Huey Lewis in the news thing.
Yeah, that was a
That's
good
funny.
one.
Yeah. Okay. And then we've got one more little segment. It's going to be Fuck, Marry, Kill, Martial Art Edition.
Oh, okay.
All right. So, Aaron, we're going to give you 3 martial artists,
Okay.
and you're going to tell me which one you're going to fuck, which one you're going to marry, which one you're going to kill.
Okay, perfect.
So, we're going to start with Chuck Norris.
Okay.
Do you know Texas Walker?
I know who Chuck Norris is. He's the white man who is hairy on the chest.
Yes. Walker, Texas Ranger.
Sure.
We're going to do Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, I know him.
Yeah. And Steven Seagal.
I don't know who Steven Seagal is.
Oh, you just wait till you see his face. So Steven Seagal, he was in Under Siege, is probably his most famous movie. Above the Law, Out for Justice. He has currently fled the country to escape human trafficking charges, I believe. He's in like Belarus or Russia or something like that.
For human trafficking?
Yeah, he's a pretty bad dude. He's had numerous sexual assault allegations, rape allegations.
Okay. I already know what I'm going to do.
Okay, let's go for it. Let's do this.
Okay. First one, kill Steven Seagal.
I included him because I knew he was going to be the kill.
God, that is the worst. Gross. Okay. Now, I don't know.
Chuck Norris and
I've never heard anything horrible about Chuck Norris.
yeah, he's conservative, but other than that, he's never really made any waves.
Okay. And Bruce Lee has passed away.
Bruce Lee is dead.
But I heard he was a really good person.
I think he had a big ego, but he never hurt anybody.
I heard he was not mean to people.
Yeah, I don't think he was mean to people.
So I'm going to say I'm going to marry Bruce Lee. Joliet? Do you have headphones on? Put headphones on. Just cover your ears.
Our daughter's in the next room. She can hear everything we're saying.
And she's going to think this is very inappropriate.
Daddy didn't have to say that, Dad.
Hurry! And I will fuck Chuck Norris. Okay.
Why Chuck Norris?
Okay. You can take him off, Juliet.
You love that mustache he's got.
No, absolutely not. I just don't want to deal with that all the time. The body hair, I'm not into.
Uh-huh.
I'm not into.
I'm famously smooth as a seal, right?
You're not smooth as a seal, but you're not super hairy either. You're like You're like in between, like you have a little bit of hair on your chest, but that's about it.
Okay.
Anyways, like I'm not into like a lot of body hair. Some people love that. I'm not. Like a little bit is fine. But I wouldn't want to deal with conservative Chuck Norris all the time.
Okay. Fair enough.
So Bruce Lee, I would marry.
You're gonna marry Bruce Lee. You're gonna fornicate with
Gross. That
Chuck
sounds
Norris.
so gross to me. But
Fornicate.
I'd rather do that than any of the other things with Steven Seagal.
Yeah, Steven Seagal is a piece of shit. You did not hear it here first. It's probably all over the place. But anyway, I'm
glad I don't know him.
That's gonna do it. Us for what? Am I speaking right now?
No, you're not.
Okay, that's gonna do it for us here at
You haven't seen it?
But now we have to tell you what movie we're gonna watch next week.
Oh yeah.
Or in 2 weeks.
So we're gonna be doing The Punisher.
Yeah, we're going to be doing the 1989 Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, which this is a terrible, terrible movie that I love. I'm going to resist the urge to talk about it right now, but I really do like it. And
like it in a good way or a bad way?
It's a bad movie, but I like it. I genuinely enjoy watching it. It's a genuine love. But
okay,
we'll get
I'm
more into that.
Nervous to watch it.
Of course you are. And if you had any corrections or you're just mad at us and hate something we said,
you just want to talk to us?
You just want to talk to us? You want
Say
to
hi?
You want to recommend a movie? You just want to get pictures of my feet? You can
we do
email.
sell them for 50 cents a piece. Mine are $1.
Oh, okay. And that was
My
a
toenails
joke.
are painted.
That
We
was
don't
a
sell our
joke.
feet.
Now I'm afraid this is real. So yeah, write into us at joeyanderinpod@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you.
Please.
Please. Okay. That's it. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.